Continuing the process of unpacking the MYP Unit Planner, this video addresses the Approaches to Learning and Content sections of the unit plan. In the MYP, learning is intended to help students apply knowledge, understanding, and skills in a range of currently relevant situations and issues. It is also intended to support students in developing skills that can help them be confident, independent, and self-managed individuals throughout their lives. These skills are organized in 5 general categories: communication, social, self-management, research, and thinking. These categories are further organized into 10 skill clusters. In MYP From Principles into Practice, there is a framework of approaches to learning skills that schools can draw from as they develop their own horizontal and vertical approaches to learning plans. This framework includes the general skill categories, skill clusters, and sets of example skill indicators. Schools may also develop customized skill indicators in any skill cluster based on the skills required in each MYP unit, specific student needs, and local circumstances and requirements. In the Approaches to Learning section of the unit planner, ATL skills that will be explicitly taught and practiced during the unit should be identified. These skills could be used to support students in 3 possible areas: skills that support students in achieving any of the subject group objective strands addressed in the unit, skills that students can use to effectively participate in the unit's learning engagements, such as self-management and collaboration skills, skills that help students optimize their achievement in the unit's assessment tasks, such as specific communication and focus skills. When describing the selected ATL skills, it can be helpful to use a writing frame that aligns each selected skill indicator with the specific objective strand, the specific learning experience, or the task that the skill indicator is intended to support. One example of this framework, based on the MYP Year 1 design unit described in previous videos, could identify a specific design objective and a skill indicator that will help students achieve that objective. Identifying the specific skill strategy that is explicitly taught and practiced can also add clarity to the unit and inform the school's ATL plan. A second type of example might identify a specific learning engagement and a communication skill indicator and skill strategy that will help students fully participate in that learning engagement. A third type of example might identify a summative task and an organization skill indicator and skill strategy that will help students complete that task. In the unit plan, information about the unit's approaches to learning skills should clearly indicate the skill categories, skill clusters, and how the specific skill indicators are used, taught, and/or practiced. The ATL section concludes the inquiry part of the unit planner, in which elements of the purpose of the unit are described. As we move on to the action section of the unit plan, it may be helpful to remember that developing a unit plan is an iterative process. Wherever you begin your planning, it is likely that you will end up moving back and forth, editing sections as your ideas for the unit evolve. In some units, you might start planning in the inquiry section, as we have illustrated in these videos. Other units, you might begin your planning in the action section, perhaps by identifying the unit content. The unit content may consist of a number of standards or local requirements and/or a set of unit-specific disciplinary content. This content may be mandated by state or national systems, or it may come from school-based requirements or the school's curriculum overview. If possible, in the unit planning platform or format used by your school, it can be helpful to organize all of the unit content in 3 categories. Factual knowledge, which might include disciplinary topics, terminology or vocabulary, time periods, events, people, places. Conceptual knowledge, which might include disciplinary conceptual ideas such as models, theories, generalizations, principles. And procedural knowledge, which might include disciplinary skills, techniques, methods, procedures. Here is an example of how unit content might be identified in the sample design unit. As unit content is being identified, you can check to make sure that it includes knowledge, concepts, and/or skills that can support understanding of the unit's key and related concepts and the global context exploration. As we progress through the unit planner, you can see how the different elements are connected to and dependent on each other. This interconnection is what distinguishes a cohesive, intentional unit plan. It is also what makes it possible to begin unit planning at any point. Wherever planning begins, all of the elements of the unit plan come together to be implemented during the learning process. And in the next video in this series, we'll look more closely at the learning experiences and teaching strategies section. We'll also consider the formative assessment methods and tasks you will use to provide feedback to students as they prepare for the summative assessment.